Welcome to How to Retire on Time, a show that answers your questions about all things retirement. My name is Mike Decker. I'm a licensed financial advisor who can even file your taxes. Now, that said, please remember this is just a show. I'm not giving you financial advice. Everything you hear should be considered, informational. With me is my esteemed colleague, Mr. David Franson. David, thanks for being here.
Yep, glad to be here.
David's going to read your questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them. You can text your questions in right now to 913-363-1234. That number one more time, 913-363-1234. Let's dive in.
Hey, Mike, what are these RMDs I'm hearing about, and how do they fit into my retirement income strategy?
RMDs are required minimum distributions, and you are required to pull money out of your accounts that you've deferred taxes on. So, in other words, we've had this great benefit of putting money into an IRA and deferring taxes. There's no capital gains. It's a huge benefit to grow your wealth. Once, though, you hit 73 years old, the government's saying, well, we need you to start paying taxes on this. The government needs money. They need revenue. So at 73, they'll force you to take out a little bit, and then 74, a little bit more, 75, a little bit more, and it's just a greater percentage, basically.
They have some kind of calculation like on the IRS website?
And it changes every year. It updates, but it's easy to calculate. Any financial professional should be able to run the calculation. You can go on websites and get a calculation too. I mean, many companies have those calculators. Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard, you name it. They all have calculators, okay? So the RMD is basically, it's just the government's trying to get paid on it.
Yeah.
That's it.
They're forcing you to take some income.
Of your pre-tax.
Okay, yes.
So think of IRA. It may be relevant to your 401k. There's some nuance there if you're still working or not, but just assume that you're going to be taking money out of it. You've got SEP IRAs, simple IRAs. I mean, really any IRA except for Roth.
Okay.
Roths are not subject to required minimum distributions.
Yeah, and tell us why that is.
I don't know. Just how the rules are written. I mean, you've already paid the taxes on it. So it grows tax-free, pays out tax-free. So I think it's like the government said, well, we don't care about this, so whatever.
Yeah. I think that's where my assumption was. This, you've already paid taxes on it, so.
Yeah. The difficulty with RMDs is the double taxation trap.
Okay.
So if you don't need the income, you can take an RMD out, but where are you going to put it? If you don't need to spend it, you can invest it again. But then if you invest it again and then you need it again, then you're going to pay taxes on the capital gains.
Okay.
That's a problem. That's an inefficiency. Now, if your intention is just to grow your assets, give it all to the kids, who really cares if you take the RMD out, pay the taxes, whatever, put it into the stock market. I don't know, you buy in Berkshire Hathaway, it doesn't pay a dividend, so it doesn't really bug you anymore, it just grows. Or maybe you buy some indexes you believe in, and you might pay some taxes on the dividend, fine. But once you pass, there's a step up in basis, which is such a weird term.
Yeah.
But it's,
It doesn't make any sense at all. But
step up in basis, don't you know? Basically, a capital gain is if you buy something at $100 and it's now worth $200, you're going to pay taxes on that $100 worth of growth per share in this situation. That's called a capital gain. But let's define things clearly. Okay. So when you pass, your stocks receive a step up in basis, as in all that growth. Now there's a new base, a new starting point.
Right.
So you're not getting taxed anymore on the growth. It starts over.
Yeah.
Okay?
That floor has moved up.
Yeah. It went from $100 basis per share to now $200 basis per share. So now you can sell it without really paying much in taxes.
Sure.
That's the idea behind it. So if you're taking your RMDs and just buying it for legacy purposes, fine.
Yeah. Because the people who are going to inherit it, that basis, that new floor will have stepped up.
Yeah, and they're going to receive it, and there's no weird restrictions on the 10-year rule. If they have to pull funds out of the inherited IRA, they can just spend this money.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily good or bad. I think people are often scared into, RMDs are coming, I got to be prepared. What do you want your money to do for you? If the idea is I want maximum income, then okay, you might want to get ahead of this and do some IRA to Roth conversions because Roths aren't subject to RMDs. And then you have your income that would be then able to kind of line up with the income you already want. So it becomes a thing you already want, you already expect.
Yeah.
So RMD planning in my mind really starts at 60 years old because that's when you can really aggressively do IRA to Roth conversions and you can line things up. So by the time you're 73 years old or so, that the income of the RMD is kind of baked into the income you already want.
And what if you're still working at 73, you haven't fully retired? Did they still make you pull out a distribution? Oh, okay. They want their money.
I mean, the simple answer is yeah.
Okay.
There are exceptions to rules, but
Sure. In general, though,
in general, yeah, you're still have to pull funds out.
All right.
So what do you do with it?
Because maybe if you already have income from a job and some other places, I don't need this income, but I was forced to take it. What do I do with it?
Yeah.
Be able to answer that question.
Now, if you don't need the RMD and you don't have legacy intentions or legacy is already taken care of, you could do a qualified charitable distribution. So you take your RMD and you give all of it to a charity so you don't pay taxes on it. That's another option as well.
That's nice.
But it's, Wayne Gretzky. Remember that guy?
But yeah, I think he's Canadian, but he played in the NHL. But anyway, famous
Wayne Gretzky.
legend.
So he has this expression, you don't skate to the puck, you skate to where the puck is going. In retirement, you skate towards the income that you need and the tax ramifications of whatever's going to happen to your assets. Now, we don't know the future, but there's a good chance you're going to have to pay taxes out of your IRA assets. So what does that look like in the future? And are you optimizing in a way that creates long-term efficiencies? That's the idea here. That's all the time we've got for the show today. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing to it wherever you get your podcast. Just search for How to Retire on Time. Discover if your portfolio is built to weather flat market cycles or if you're missing tax minimization opportunities that you may not even know exist. Explore strategies that may be able to help you lower your overall risk while potentially increasing your overall growth and lifestyle flexibility. This is not your ordinary financial analysis. Learn more about Your Wealth Analysis and what it could do for you regardless of your age, asset, or target retirement date. Go to www.yourwealthanalysis.com today to learn more and get started.